Ever wondered what it's like to have so much money that prices stop mattering? Not in a "I don't check the menu" way, more like numbers no longer register in my brain way. That's the level Saudi Arabia's crown prince, Mohammed bin Salman, operates on. For him, money isn't something you manage, it's something you ignore. While normal people are stressing over rent and gas prices, this guy is deciding which palace feels right for the night. And when living on land started feeling a little too normal, he didn't move cities. He moved to the ocean. Back in 2014, MBS decided he needed a yacht. Not because he loved sailing, not because he needed transportation, just because, why not? So he bought Pegasus, a $200 million floating palace that makes most cruise ships look like inflatable pool toys. This wasn't a yacht built for relaxing. It was built to remind the ocean who's in charge. Inside Pegasus, everything is aggressively unnecessary. Gold is everywhere, and not in a classy way either. More like someone clearly said yes to every upgrade. Chairs look like thrones, tables shine like museum artifacts, and the carpets are so thick you'd lose a shoe if you weren't paying attention. Every stateroom feels like a luxury apartment, except the bathrooms are bigger than most people's actual homes. There's a spa, a private cinema, and a gym so advanced it makes Olympic training centers look underfunded. And the wild part? Just maintaining this thing costs millions every single year. Not upgrading it, not renovating it, just keeping it alive. But apparently, one $200 million yacht wasn't enough to satisfy him. Because a year later, he looked at Pegasus and basically said, yeah, but bigger. So in 2015, MBS bought Serene for around $550 million. $500 million. This thing is 134 meters long and makes Pegasus look like a warm-up act. Serene isn't a yacht. It's a 5-star resort that accidentally learned how to float. It has multiple decks, swimming pools, a full spa, a private cinema, and enough space to host world leaders without anyone bumping elbows. And of course, it has a helicopter. Because walking is for civilians. But even that wasn't enough. Because Serene also has a submarine on board. A submarine. So while you're sipping a drink on the deck, someone else can casually descend into the ocean like they're in a Bond movie. Most people go on vacation to relax. MBS goes on vacation and explores the seafloor. That's not leisure. That's billionaire side quest behavior. Just to push it even further, both yachts were later sent to the Netherlands for full refits. Not repairs. Not touch-ups. Full refits. Like you do when your floating palace doesn't feel shiny enough anymore. At this point, MBS wasn't buying yachts. He was collecting oceans. But boats weren't the only place he decided to park absurd amounts of money. In 2017, he stepped into the art world and casually bought Salvator Mundi, a Leonardo da Vinci painting, for $450 million. Nearly $500 million for a single painting. There was mystery around who bought it, secret bids, international competition, and for a while, nobody even knew where the painting went. Some people still think it's hanging somewhere on one of his yachts. Imagine spending $450 million on art, and then hanging it on a boat. That's not collecting art. That's flexing on history. And just when it feels like the spending couldn't get more surreal, MBS decided he needed something permanent. Something historic. Something that screams, I won. So he bought the Chateau Louis XIV in France for around $320 million. This place looks like it was ripped straight out of the 17th century and dropped into modern reality. It sits near Versailles and was designed to mimic the Sun King's era, except with billionaire upgrades. Gold-covered doors. Massive ballrooms. A wine cellar that holds thousands of bottles. High-tech systems that let you control the entire estate from your phone. But the feature that really breaks people's brains? An underwater meditation room. A literal room beneath the water, surrounded by fish, built into the castle's moat. Just in case you ever feel like meditating while koi judge your life decisions. At that point, this isn't real estate anymore. It's performance art funded by unlimited money. And that's just where MBS vacations and relaxes. This isn't even how he moves through the world day to day. Once you understand how Mohammed bin Salman spends, the next question becomes more interesting. What does someone like that do with this level of power? Because when money stops being the limit, influence becomes the real currency. And MBS has been spending heavily in that department too. At the center of it all is Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund, a sovereign wealth fund so massive it makes Wall Street pay attention. With hundreds of billions of dollars at its disposal, the fund doesn't just invest. It reshapes industries. Technology, real estate, entertainment, transportation, sports. Nothing is off the table. When the fund moves, markets notice. And sitting at the top of it all is MBS, steering money not just to make returns, but to reposition Saudi Arabia on the global chessboard. One of the most visible ways he's done this is through sports. Not by sponsoring teams, by buying influence outright. When Saudi Arabia acquired Newcastle United, it wasn't just about football. It was a statement, a message that Saudi money had arrived in one of the world's most watched leagues. Almost overnight, a quiet club turned into a serious contender, backed by wealth that could outspend nearly anyone. The same strategy followed in boxing, Formula One, golf, and global wrestling events. Sports weren't entertainment anymore. They were soft power. Football especially became a showcase. High-profile players began arriving in the Saudi Pro League on contracts so massive they broke the internet. These weren't retirement deals. These were checks designed to pull the global spotlight eastward. When Cristiano Ronaldo signed, it set off a chain reaction. Suddenly, Saudi Arabia wasn't just hosting matches. It was rewriting the global football conversation using money as punctuation. But MBS isn't stuck in the physical world. He's also investing heavily in the digital future. Gaming, esports, and interactive entertainment became strategic targets. Through his companies, Saudi Arabia acquired major stakes in global gaming giants and nearly full ownership of legendary studios. To most people, gaming is a hobby. To MBS, it's culture, influence, and an industry with billions of loyal users. Controlling attention in the digital age is just as valuable as controlling oil once was. And speaking of oil, this is where his power truly begins. The Saudi royal family's wealth is inseparable from energy, and Saudi Aramco remains the crown jewel. At one point valued at over $2 trillion, it's not just the most profitable company in the world. It's a lever that moves global economies. Under MBS, Aramco isn't just pumping oil. It's funding diversification, transformation, and the long-term survival of Saudi power beyond fossil fuels. That future vision has a name, Vision 2030. And its most extreme expression is ELM. A $1 trillion project designed to look like science fiction became a real construction site. A city stretching over 170 kilometers. Buildings rising hundreds of meters into the air. Fully powered by renewable energy. Designed around artificial intelligence, automation, and human-centered planning. ELM isn't just a city. It's a message to the world that Saudi Arabia doesn't plan to fade quietly when oil eventually loses dominance. Inside the kingdom, MBS has also pushed social reforms that would have been unthinkable just a decade earlier. Women driving, cinemas reopening, concerts filling stadiums, international events pouring into cities that were once culturally closed. These changes weren't random. They were calculated. Designed to modernize society, attract tourism, retain young talent, and reshape how the world sees Saudi Arabia. At the same time, his philanthropy operates on a scale that mirrors his spending. Through foundations and state-backed initiatives, billions have flowed into education, entrepreneurship, humanitarian aid, and social welfare. Refugees across the Middle East and Africa. Debt relief for prisoners. Massive donations to digital charity platforms that distribute aid with transparency. These aren't quiet acts of generosity. They are systems built to last, reinforcing both domestic stability and international image. On the global stage, MBS plays diplomacy like a high-stakes game. He meets tech billionaires, presidents, and rival superpowers with the same confidence. The strategy is simple: don't pick sides, be necessary to everyone. Balance relationships with the West, China, and Russia. Make Saudi Arabia impossible to ignore. In a world driven by energy, capital, and logistics, relevance is power. And that's what makes Mohammed bin Salman fascinating. Not the yachts. Not the paintings. Not even the palaces. It's the fact that behind the spectacle is a long-term plan. A vision backed by money so vast it bends reality around it. Whether history will praise or criticize him is still undecided. But one thing is already clear.